I've got the Bhagavad Gita is not even saying, I've read the Bhagavad Gita. How many of you have read the Bhagavad Gita from beginning to end? How many of you have read the Bhagavad Gita from the beginning till the end? Anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's probably 40 or 50 of us in the room. How many of you have got your own copy of the Bhagavad Gita? Hands up. Even that is quite low. That is not even half of the hands. Sri Vrindavan, you don't have a copy? Pardon? I hope so. Goodness gracious. Well, anyway, it seems like quite a few of you don't have a copy. How many of you have got your copy here now? Hands up. How many have brought your Bhagavad Gita with you? I don't mean on your mobile phone. Anyone has brought a book? You have your book with you today. Wonderful. Well done. You win. You win the contest. Jai. Do you know that Srila Prabhupada, Haribol, Srila Prabhupada one time, and I think you all know, anybody not know who Srila Prabhupada is? I mean, we don't expect you to give an absolutely detailed answer, but in simple terms, does anyone know who Srila Prabhupada is? Or not know, rather, we should say. Who doesn't know? If you don't put your hand up, we assume everybody knows. Okay, sounds like everybody knows who Srila Prabhupada is, the spiritual master, who founded the Hare Krishna movement in the Western world, ISKCON, the pure devotee of the Lord, who's spreading the holy name all over the world, and through his books is giving the truth about the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One time he was on an aeroplane. We've just come from Cebu this morning on an aeroplane. So Prabhupada wasn't going from Cebu to Manila, but somewhere. And he asked the devotee with him, his assistant, his servant, please quote the verse. Tell. And the devotee couldn't get it. He said, then get your Bhagavad Gita out and find it. I don't have one, he said. Srila Prabhupada said you should always carry your Bhagavad Gita with you. Wherever you go, you should have a Bhagavad Gita. Now, we have a nice example. We also just come from Cebu. We were an island, not just a city. And everywhere we saw so many pious people. They're glorifying Santo Nino. Parades everywhere. Traffic was very hard to drive because every town was having a parade for Santo Nino. It was inspiring. Even on the plane, people were carrying statues of Santo Nino. Pious, religious, God-centered to a large degree, you could say. Maybe not with too much knowledge, but at least with heart sentiment, which is very important. So Prabhupada said, any real Christian, any serious Christian, where will he go without the Bible? They carry their Bible. I mean, not all, of course not. But they have usually a small Bible, a little one. Right? Now, where's those little Bhagavad Gitas? There we go. I can't quite reach it. Look at this. Now, you can comment from any angle of vision you wish, but it is nonetheless the Bhagavad Gita, which was compiled in the early days of ISKCON, and which we just read millions of these all over the world. And this is a very small pocket-sized version. And there are different varieties of pocket size, smaller, bigger. There's a bigger one there, but I've got another one here. You can open this bag. There's a yellow one in there. So every one of them will connect us, a yellowish color, chunky, solid and chunky. There it is. That's it. All of them will connect us if we hear them with Krishna. Amazing, isn't it? You can be right next to Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is right here and speaking to us. These are His words, not ours. As we mentioned the other day, Srila Prabhupada said that when he sits down to do his translations and commentaries on his book, on the books, at that moment Krishna appears and sits next to him and speaks and tells him what to write. And Prabhupada said, these are not my books, these are Krishna's books. He's written these books. I'm just like the pen who writes what Krishna tells me to do. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita Krishna says that what's it called? Nimittimatra bhavyasavasachin. Arjuna, you just become an instrument. You act according to my will. You be an instrument. Now that doesn't mean we become a machine, by the way. Sounds like we're becoming a machine. A2 or something. No, it's not. It means that we're out of love, the loving relationship. When you're in love with someone, you just want to fulfill their will. You're not interested in your own will. You're interested in their will. Devotional service to Krishna means we're interested in Krishna's will, what He wants. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's will. Isn't it? When you get old, quite often people write a will. Right? By law, not by law, but by decision of our senior Vaishnavas in our movement, all of us are writing a will. Because when I pass away, I have a bank account in Zurich with about $50 billion in it, I think. I haven't checked it for a few years. Maybe 200 kilos of gold. I'm not quite sure what I've got. I'm a rich man. I don't think what I've got will cover the expenses of leaving the body, but whatever. But still, it's good to know. So people leave wills when they leave their body, or before they leave their body, not after they leave it. It's too late then. They leave it before, and then that's supposed to be followed, isn't it? When you go to court, you're supposed to follow what it says. Now, people may fight against it because of selfish motivation, but in legality, you're supposed to follow the will. So there's no Krishna's eternal, he never dies, but he appears and then is not apparently manifest any longer, but he leaves behind him his will, his teachings, his purpose. The very purpose of his appearing is contained in the Bhagavad Gita. So if you haven't got one, you must get one. You're hearing directly from God. Who better to listen to? Listen to so many other people at school, at home, on the TV, on the internet, mobile. Listening to so many people and hearing what they say, but it has no real value. It doesn't really help anyone. It just keeps us in ignorance. Birth after birth. It doesn't solve any problems. As we're hearing from persons, it's like if you're in the ocean, you're drowning, and this next person's also drowning. How can they help you? They may be a better swimmer, so maybe for a few minutes they can keep you afloat. Or maybe you're in a quicksand. Do you know what quicksand means? Like you sink into it slowly, huh? Yeah, you're caught. You can't get out of it. Slowly it sucks you down until you're gone. Horrible way to go. But that's what's happening in one sense anyway, but we don't see it. So, you're in the quicksand, you're up to here, the guy next to you is up to there. So, no, don't worry, hold on to me. I can save you. See, hold on to him. Maybe he pulls you up a little bit, then you're both going down. You're not going to get, saved. It's got to be someone outside of the quicksand, huh? Or somebody above the ocean, not in the ocean. It's got to be someone who's transcendental to this material world, huh? Beyond it. So we have to hear from such a person. And not just to hear. Probably gives an example. Just, he gives an example. Well, you know what a well is? A well. Where you get your water, big thing. And sometimes people fall in the well. Have you ever seen anyone fall in a well? I've seen someone fall in a well. Or get stuck in a well would be more to the point, actually. They went down, they dropped something, they went down to get it, they couldn't get back up. And they're stuck down there. Help! 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 So you come along. You hear someone shouting in the well, what will you do? Go there? What will you do? Throw them a cigarette so they can have a smoke down there. What are you going to do? Throw them €5, 20 pesos? What are you going to do? Here, take this. Huh? If you can, you try to do something. Take your dhotis off and tie them into a rope or something. Put them down there into the well. Help! Save me! And you throw the rope down, or the whatever, down into the well. Save me! Save me! You already thrown the rope down. Wait a minute, I threw the rope down. No, no, no! Help me to hold on to the rope. What are you going to do? What can you do? You're on the top, and they're down the bottom. You throw the rope. You're going to pull them out if they hold it. They won't hold it. I say, I've got the rope, but you have to tell me how to hold it. You have to do your part. You might have the Bhagavad Gita, but you've got to hold it. Just sitting there is not going to do much good. It's the most important book that exists. We have so much time for WhatsApping or whatever, Facebooking, guaranteeing another face in another body, I guess. Might not be a human one either. So much time for messaging, huh? I like. Bhagavad Gita. And what I like about this one, I'm not propagating, by the way, but we do, for somehow or another, by Krishna's arrangement, have a lot of them. So it does fit into your pocket. At least it did yesterday, it better do today. There we go. It fits into your top pocket. Ladies don't have a top pocket, usually. They might have a little purse or something, or a little bag. Fits easily in there. This one's great. It just doesn't fit into your top pocket unless you've got a really big one. Not quite. I suppose you could kind of go along like that. Advertise it is a good idea. What's that in your pocket? Oh, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita. Whatever version it is, it's the Bhagavad Gita. It's Prabhupada's words, Krishna's words, and it's giving us directions. So, if you have one, congratulations. If you have one, if you don't have one, congratulations, you're going to get one today. Is that right? And you can see Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu here, this very effulgent, blissful brahmachari sitting here. He's come all the way from Australia just to give you a Bhagavad Gita. There you go. That's if you haven't got one. Oh, you can always also, to help us to get more, you can give him a donation for it. Is that right? Yeah, you can give him a donation. Then we can bring more over. For more people, especially in Tondo. There were more Bhagavad Gitas for the Tondans. Tondans. Tondonians, or I don't know what they call them. Okay, so there we have two versions, and another version here. I don't think we have it available. There's many different versions. It's all the same, just a different marketing, different cover, different size, shape, and so on. Huh? So please bear that in mind. Different types. I actually, he doesn't have. You don't have this one. I've got some of these. This is hardbound. It's a little bit bigger, of course, and it's more complete. It's got a few things this one doesn't have. This one doesn't have the original Sanskrit, it doesn't have the word for word, but it has the Roman transliteration and the English translation and the purport through all the verses. Nice. Good to take around. Compendium. There, compendium. So I'm going to read, there's also another one, which is, that one there is also hardbound, very slim line. It's the 1972 version, Bhagavad Gita. They're both good, whatever people say. They both pass over the message of Godhead. It's not someone else's message. So we're going to read the 18th chapter, text 58. So get out your Bhagavad Gitas. Only one of you has one, so the rest of you can get your mobiles if you have one. Oh, it's on the board. Oh my goodness. This defeats everything. Dear. It's one time Srila Prabhupada was asking this devotee, do you know what the qualities of a Vaishnava are? There are 26 qualities given in the Shastras, in the different scriptures, of a Vaishnava. Lord Chaitanya gives them in Chaitanya Charitamrita, they're mentioned in different places by the Goswamis and others. And he said, ask the devotee, do you know what they are? The 26 qualities of a devotee? Do you know what they are? Maybe you know some, maybe you don't know any. Maybe you do know some, you don't know you know some, or you could guess, or, some of them are kind of pretty obvious. A devotee wears tilak, right? That's one of the qualities, isn't it? He wears neck beads. He has this thing on the back of his head, What else? He eats prasadam. What else does a devotee do? What else does he do? What other qualities do they have? They eat prasadam, they wear this funny thing, if they're men, they shave their hair short. They wear bed sheets. Someone said that on Sankirtan the other day. Curtains. And we were in Bogo. I was wondering what people from Bogo are called. Bogies? They're called bogies, or bogans, or bogus? The bogus. Or whatever it is, they're nice people. And one of them said, why are these people wearing curtains? Yes, they thought some kind of curtains, we're wearing curtains. So that's not the quality of a devotee. So this devotee didn't really know what to say at first. And then he very cleverly said, yes, Srila Prabhupada, they're in the book. They're in the book. It tells you what they are in the book. Prabhupada said, it's not enough to say they're in the book. You have to know it. It's like if you go for a driving test, I don't know, maybe you don't have that in this country. I wonder sometimes if you have it or not. But it's supposed to be a driving test, so you become qualified to drive, right? Drive a car. And you're supposed to take the test. If you do you have a written test as well as a physical one? Yeah. You have a code, a highway code type of thing? You do, huh? Amazing, huh? It's hard to imagine that you have a highway code. But, So you're supposed to know the highway code, I guess, if you want to pass your test. If you go there and the man testing you or the lady testing you says, so, what do you do if the light's red? It's in the book. What do you do if there's a line across the road? It tells you in the book. Why are you asking me? Just read the book. Will you pass your test? No, definitely not. What do you do if you want to turn right? Read the book. Don't ask me all these questions. The book's there. Why are you asking these questions? Just read the book, will you? You're definitely not going to pass your test. You'll be probably banned from driving for life, probably. You've got to know what's in the book, isn't it? if you want to pass your test and drive on the road. If we want to go back to Godhead, we better know what the process is. Isn't it? What do you think, Mahendra? Are you there? Yes, man. What do you think? Should we know the process or not? We should know. Yes? Yes, okay, yes. Confirmed. What's to be done and what's not to be done, huh? Okay? Exactly. What is favorable and what is not favorable for the will of God. Okay, we're going to read text number 58. Om Gyananandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Tapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Brishubhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevascha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sanyavadi Asachari Shatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So why I chose this verse is because Indra Value Mata has asked if we can give a little seminar on chanting japa. What is chanting japa? Pardon? Is a practice of Bhakti Yoga. What is it specifically? Pardon? Chanting the Mahamantra in what way? Pardon? You can use beads, and even if you don't use beads, technically speaking, what is japa? You know the word prajalpa is the same, but it's just a matter of to what we, let's say, subject matter that we're, to vibration, making sound. But japa particularly, in our case, japa can be any sound, if you really want to get into detail. But japa to a spiritualist is chanting a spiritual sound. But it's primarily for your own hearing. Kirtan's the same thing, but it's meant for others to hear as well. Whereas japa is mainly for own hearing, and it's repetition. It's usually a regular practice in every religion, practically speaking. I think of the world, every religion does japa. They may have different prayers, mantras, or whatever it is, but in Christianity they use beads. Sikhism they use beads, Buddhism they use beads, Islam they use beads, Hinduism they use beads. For chanting a particular prayer on the beads, a regular amount of times daily or whatever it is, isn't it? You have your rosary beads here in Philippines, so many millions of people carrying rosary beads, chanting Hail Marys or Jesus, the mercy prayer, whatever it is, on their beads regularly. And we also, same thing, chanting and hearing. You're supposed to hear it. We're not meant to just be a machine, we're also meant to hear it. And in fact, Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, of sacrifices I am thee. Chanting of the holy name, japa. The word japa is there. Krishna himself says, I am that. I am that. That is me. I'm present there. But there's Krishna isn't like an object. It's like, like a 10 euro, a 10 peso coin or something, which I give to you, you've got it. It's like stuck. A 10 euro coin can't say, I don't want to go to that person. I don't like them. I'm not going to go to them. It's not like that. Krishna's not like a coin. He is, as we have a little free will, he has unlimited free will. So he reveals himself according to whom he chooses, not according to our choice. It's not according to our choice, it's according to his choice. So we're going to read this verse. Are we ready?
Yes,
all ready? You have it on the screen, you have it on your mobiles, and some of you have it in a book which is physically present before you. There's no replacement for the book, by the way. No replacement. It will always stand in its own, you can say, level. Matchita savadurgani matprasadat tarishyasi atachetvam ahankaran nashroshasi vinangshasi. Okay, you can turn it off now and turn your mobiles off, and I'm sure you've all learnt it off by heart now. It used to be like that, In the previous ages, people don't realize it, of course, but they had very good memories. Just by saying something once or repeating it once, they could remember it. We can repeat it 1,000 times and we don't remember it. What was that you just said? I can't remember. You probably can't remember what I just said 10 seconds ago. That much you should remember, because I said you can't remember, so you should be able to remember that. But people have good memories, We think we're advanced because we have books. Good. Kali Yuga is good if you have a book to read, especially spiritual one. But that doesn't mean we're advanced. It means we're not advanced. Because previously people didn't need books. They could remember just by hearing. It's hard to imagine, huh? There are still people somewhat like that, called Shrutidar. They hear something once. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, our Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, was Shrutidar. He could read a page once and he could memorize it. And can tell you what page number, everything. Like I said. He was Shrutidar. But hardly anyone like that. Very rare. There are some people who are pretty much like that, but not entirely. But previously, even normal people, at least in Satyuga particularly, could remember by hearing. So we can't. So it's written down. So we'll repeat it again. Matchita sarvadurgani matprasada tarishasi atachetvam ahankaram nashroshasi vinangshasi. Matchita sarvadurgani matprasada tarishasi atachetvam ahankaram nashroshasi vinangshasi Okay, who wants to have a crack at it? Machita Savadurgani. Machita Savadurgani. Atachetvam ahankaram. Shoshasi nakshasi. Ladies. Machita Savadurgani. Matprasada tarishyasi. Atachetvam ahankaram. Shoshasi vinakshasi. Mat, of me. Chittaha, being in consciousness. Sarva, all. Durgani, impediments. Mat prasadat, by my mercy. Tarishasi, you will overcome. Hata, but. Chet, if. Tvam, you. Ahankarat, by false ego. Na shoshasi, do not hear. Vinamshasi, you will be lost. Srila Prabhupada's translation and purport. If you become conscious of me, Krishna of course is speaking to Arjuna. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. There's two important points there, huh? Many, actually more than two. Passing over all the obstacles of conditioned life. How? By becoming conscious of Krishna. If we think of Krishna, the material energy is no longer an obstacle. That's a topic in itself, isn't it? But that's still not enough, because ultimately it depends on the grace of Krishna. The removal of the material obstacles are by Krishna's grace. We may try to act in such a way that pleases Krishna or is according to Krishna's will, but that doesn't guarantee anything. You may serve somebody as much as you like, but that doesn't guarantee that they are going to reciprocate with you. That is their choice. And Krishna does say, as they surrender, I reward them accordingly. So generally we understand that's the case. But we may not understand what it means. We may have the wrong understanding of what Krishna's mercy means. Most people think Krishna's mercy means that you will be very, let's say, rewarded with material opulence, long life, health, wealth, heavenly planets, good family, happy. Most people think this is the reward. This is what you get from worshipping God. That may happen by course of providence or whatever, Because that's not the goal. That's not the real reward. And as long as we don't understand that, there's still an obstacle to our real, let's say, purpose, our real nature, which is to love, full love, absolute love, unalloyed love, eternal love, relationship with Krishna. It's nothing to do, it's not a business deal. I'll serve you if you give me this. If you free me from my sinful reactions, I will serve you. If you give me what I want, I'll serve you. Isn't it? Free me from suffering and I'll serve you. Maybe that happens, but that's not love. That's like a conditional relationship, isn't it? You know, would you work if you didn't get paid? Some of you are working. Would you work if you didn't get, how many of you are in a job, getting a salary? Anybody? Nobody. I thought so. No, surely somebody in this room has a job with a salary. Is there anyone? Okay, a few hands are going up. Maybe you've got your own business, but let's say you're working for somebody. You're working for the government. Okay? Just say. And the government officer says, you're such a good worker, we're going to reward you by not giving you any wages at all. You're just such a good worker. Would you carry on working?
No.
Probably not. Okay, definitely not. This is a bit material, huh? You expect something in return for your services. But it's also there in relation with God, but it's not the same thing. It's a completely different reciprocation. What is the most, let's say, in the heart of hearts, what is the most satisfying thing in our lives? What brings us the most happiness? And some of you will probably say different things, but what would you say if someone said, what really is the most satisfying thing that you can experience in this lifetime? What do you think? Pardon?
Serve the many.
Serve what?
The many.
Serving many people. Okay, that's a nice one. That's more, you could say, more selfless one. There's something behind that also, actually. But let's look. I was thinking of something a little bit more self-centered, maybe. The experience you get. There's also there in that same point you've mentioned. But what is the thing we get the highest experience from? Huh? That's not in the material world. Not meant to be anyway. Huh? They say there's a song, I think, that makes the world go round. What is it? Huh? Love. Who said love? Who said love? Well done, sir. Mahendra Prabhu. Love. Of course, love has many sides to it, and in this world it's not always, what we hope it will be. But in principle, love. We want love with our family, with friends, people, animals. We want loving relationships. Huh? It's love makes the world go round. This is what people are really searching after. It's not money is there, but whatever it is, everything else may bring some pleasure, but in one sense it's all meant to help us to experience that love which is constitutional to every living being. It's just wrongly directed without knowledge towards the matter, towards the material energy, other conditioned souls, which is, stepping stones are there. But the real essence or the real purpose of this loving propensity, which everybody has, is there in the animals because they're also spirit soul, less manifest, but it's still there. is to love God. That's the perfection of it. That's the essence of our very being, is love. The love. And in the reflected material world it comes out in various ways. But the root is pure love. We're looking for it. That's what we really find the greatest satisfaction from, is love. So, here, the obstacles. So this is the real result, the real reward, you can say. That Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sajakabanai Shravanada Shujiti Karyudai. That Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, that love of God, love of Krishna, is eternally, constitutionally part of our very being. It's just covered over. Shravanadi Shudachite Karya Udai. Shravanadi means there's a process to uncover, awaken that, or bring realization as to where that loving propensity should be directed. Through hearing. Shravan means to hear. In this verse here, the word is not Shravan exactly. In this verse it's Shroshasi, but it's the same root. To hear. And it's no Shroshasi, not hear. So if we don't hear, then we will not get anywhere. If someone gives us directions how to cook, some of you are very expert cooks, I'm sure, and you're giving some direction to someone how to cook a preparation. What's the favorite preparation in Philippines? What's the favorite one? Huh? What's that? Dobo? Huh? Huh? I can't get it. Huh? Adobo. 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 It sounds like a dough ball. A ball made of dough. Sprinkle some sugar on it. It might be edible. Adobo. Or whatever it is. What is it? A sweet or what? Sweet? Salty? There's a recipe? Huh? What I say? It was a food for life recipe. Okay, it must be good. So whatever it is, say somebody want to teach somebody this recipe, and they want to cook this adobo. So you show them, you tell them how to do it. You may even show them. But it doesn't happen just by saying, where is the adobo? It's, the adobo is 2 teaspoonfuls of this, 5 ounces of that, or one, whatever. No, you've got to put it into practice, you've got to mix it together, you've got to cook it, or whatever. Oh, I thought it was just enough to know the recipe. You cannot eat a recipe. You have to put it into practice. Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is not armchair philosophy. It is practical service. Consciousness of Krishna, this is the secret. To become conscious of Krishna in all that we do. Depend upon Krishna in all that we do. And Krishna will give us shelter, He'll give us direction. Prabhupada writes, a person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. He's not anxious about it. He can do or not to do. He's not worried. He's achieved the purpose. The goal of our duties is to be Krishna conscious. The foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. Anxiety is due, basically speaking, because we're, you can say, we're worried about the future. We're identifying ourselves with this body. We're worried about the future. What will happen? Will I be able to get what I want? What will happen to my body? What about my family? What's going to happen to the world? Oh, maybe I'll become sick. Oh no. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There's another disease coming in. Oh, what will I do? We're so much absorbed in something. There's not much we can do about most of it. But we occupy, and we're becoming anxiety. Someone does something we don't like the way they do it, we get stressed out. It's so easy to be an anxiety. So, executing the duties. The foolish can't understand this, that simply by taking real shelter of Krishna, one's completely satisfied. That love of God which is in our hearts is being reflected in this world. But by through hearing and chanting, it be reflected because it's going through the dirty things, the obstacles in our heart. And it comes out in a perverted way. It's still there, but it's in a perverted way. Propensities, and if we perverted propensities in this world get us into trouble. We're called a pervert. And you get into trouble. You see? Are you a criminal or an abuser or something? You get into trouble. It's perverted use of our physical facility. You get into trouble. The perverted, let's say, direction of our natural loving propensity gets us into trouble. We get into anxiety, maybe much worse than that. But at least anxiety, we're so much in anxiety. We're going to lose what we want, or we find out what we thought we wanted isn't what we wanted at all, and you can't get out of it. You're in a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. These are obstacles on the path. They can be removed immediately, just like when the sun shines, the darkness is gone. We're coming into the light of Krishna consciousness, remembering Krishna. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. Krishna is very pleased. He wants to be with that devotee. He always looks after his friend's comfort, and he gives himself to his friend. That doesn't mean he gives him a nice soft bed, a nice armchair to sit in. It means in the heart of hearts, the devotee is peaceful, the devotee is happy, the devotee feels satisfied within the heart. The Lord may also directly take his hand for the devotee's sake in terms of manifested. He's doing it anyway. But the real comfort is within, the real happiness is within, no matter what. One time Francis of Assisi, the famous Catholic saint, living in Assisi in Italy, was walking through the mountains in Italy. It was the winter, there was snow. He was with one of his brethren. And the brethren was asking Francis, where will we find true happiness? And Francis of Assisi was answering him. He said, will we find happiness if everyone becomes this, a Christian or something? He said, Francis says, not necessarily. Will we find happiness if everyone becomes expert in all the various arts and sciences which were there? No. Will we become happy if everyone becomes, magnanimous and gives all their money and wealth, everything? No. He went on and on and on. And the poor brethren was thinking, it sounds like there's no happiness. You can't get in any real, not real happiness. So then they came to a monastery. It was getting very late. They intended to try to stay there for the night. They came to the Radha Madhava Mandir in Makati. There's no snow here though. They knocked on the door. And somebody after a while came to the door and said, who are you? And the brethren said, I'm blah blah blah. I'm Father Alfred or something. And this is, Francis. Saint Francis or whatever they call Francis, Father Francis, whatever in those times, from Assisi. And the fellow said, I don't believe you, go away. I don't believe you. He didn't let them in. I hope that doesn't happen. But it happened in this case. So they sat outside and the weather got worse and worse, colder and colder, snow and snow. And so the brethren was getting so cold. They only had they had no socks, just sandals only, and a frock. Catholic frock. Long Catholic frock. So it was getting real cold. So the brother said, I can't take this anymore, what are we going to do? Let's try again. So he knocked on the door again. And no answer. Again, after a while, the man came to the door. He said, look, mate, look you guys, I told you that you're not let in, go away, go away. And he started to beat them with a stick. And they fell into the snow and the gutter and the drain, basically, bruised. Francis was smiling blissfully. And he said, this is where you will find real happiness. It doesn't make sense. Why? Because he was completely internal. If we're depending upon external things for our happiness, we'll never be happy. Because they're all temporary. They're not real. Happiness is within our hearts. In Taoism they say, the Creator has hidden happiness in a place you'll never look. You won't find it in the land, sea or air. Happiness is within your very conscious self, within the heart. Of course they may not be theists, but the principle is the same. With them it's just detachment from the externals. With the devotee it's attachment to Krishna, or God. That's where you find real happiness. We were always looking outside for happiness. This thing, that thing. But it would never satisfy us. We're like donkeys with a carrot on a stick in front of our noses. We never quite reach the carrot. Because it's on a stick tied to our head. And as you move forward, the stick moves forward, the carrot moves forward. You never quite get there. You try and try and try, and you're still not quite there. We're stupid. How to find that within our own hearts. See how we can become conscious of Krishna. And here we go on. The rest of Krishna said, if however you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego. False ego means we're thinking with the body. We act on the bodily platform of life. I am a, what would you say, Filipino? I am a Filipino. I am a man. I am a woman. Woman. Woof, 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 I'm a dog. Woof, woof, woof. I'm a, whatever it is. Meow, pussycat. I'm a rat. I'm a cockroach. Whatever we think we are, this is all illusion. It's not real. That's not who we really are. As long as we're on that platform. This is actually on the platform of the false ego. Misidentifying. Ego means identity. False ego means wrong identity. So we have the wrong identity all the time. That means, and we listen. We listen to the whatever our karmic thoughts are, or the thoughts of others who are equally conditioned, and we listen to that and follow it. In this way, we're lost in the material whirlpool. We're lost. Prabhupada goes on in the purport, for one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes the most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort. And he gives himself to the friend who is so devotedly engaged, working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. Well, that's not necessarily our position, is it? Satatam kirtiyanto mamyatantascha dridavataha. Always chanting my glories, always engaged in my service. This devotees rise above. They rise above the obstacles of this world. They're transcendental, even though they're living in it. They're not affected by it in any way. It's there. But what's there doesn't affect them. They're above it. Just like if there's a terrible storm, but you're above the ocean, you're not really affected. It might emotionally affect you, but it doesn't directly affect us. But when you're in the ocean, it really affects us. So those transcendental. Our only business, or the only business of a transcendentalist in this world, is to wake others up. Bring others to Krishna consciousness. Therefore, no one should be carried away by the false ego of the bodily concept of life. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature or free to act. We sometimes think we don't need to, there are laws of nature, we'll conquer those laws. We'll make our own laws. Many great fools have thought like that. Many fools. Well, we can't conquer it. I've told it before, maybe you've heard this. But in Europe in the 1970s, there was a scientific conference in Berlin. This time of year, January. The conquest, the title of the congress was Man's Conquest Over Nature. How we're conquering nature. We're sending rockets to the moon. We're doing so many things. We're conquering nature. That's what the whole thing was about. So unfortunately, in Berlin, it gets quite cold in the winter. And sometimes they have snowstorms. You don't have snowstorms here, you have typhoons, huh? So they have blizzards, snow. And there was a big blizzard. And they had to declare, the conference has been cancelled. It's been cancelled due to conditions beyond our control. The whole airport was not accessible, it was covered in snow. No one could reach Berlin. So much for their conquest over nature. They couldn't even hold a conference to discuss it. So proud people are. We have no control over nature. Can you control your nature? When you go to the toilet, can you control your nature? I am not going to go to the toilet ever again. Well, you'd have to stop everything else you do as well. I'm not going to eat ever again. Even if you don't eat, you might drink. So I'm not going to drink ever again. And what will happen if you don't drink or eat and don't go to the toilet? What will happen? You'll probably die. You're probably right there. You'll probably die. That's what usually happens. At least the body dies. So we're controlled by nature. We're not free. You can say, I'm not going to die. Why should I die? I don't want to die. I'm not going to die. There's a story. Pakistan, if someone tells them. Sometimes happens. We don't want to die. There's a few stories actually. Anyway, this guy, he didn't want to die. He was a really good sculptor. Anyone here a sculptor? You know what a sculptor is? Anyone a good sculptor? Are you a sculptor? Wow. Really? What do you do? What do you sculpt? What's your name? What's his name? Murari. Haribol Murari. Good to see you, Murari. Old devotee, huh? You've been a long time. And you're a sculptor. Wonderful. So this guy was such a good sculptor. And he knew all about Yamaraj and the Yamadutas and everything, you know. And I have actually had people who give him evidence about this, that they come. And if the police come, you know, if the police come to arrest you, they usually have some kind of picture of what you look like. You know, the address, a picture of what you look like and stuff like that, so they can be sure it is you, you know. So they do. They have a picture of the guy, you know, of the woman. So he was thinking that, wait a minute, I'll trick those Yamadutas. They won't get me. So he was such a good sculptor, he made about 20 identical forms of himself and put them, you know, around the room like this, you know. And then one day the Yamadutas came to take him away. They all going, which one is it? There's loads of them. Which one is it? They all look the same. Which one are we going to take? He was also standing like a statue. He wasn't moving or doing anything. So they're bewildered. But one of them was real clever. Really clever. One of the Yamadutas said, oh, come on. Whoever did this is a useless sculptor. Such a bad sculptor. Come on, look how bad they are. Now, what would you do if someone said that and you're a sculptor? Immediately he said, I'm a great sculptor. Come on, they all look the same. Ah, gotcha. Took him away. You can't trick Yamaraj. We may think we can trick, but we cannot. We get our due rewards, as smartphone tells us. Huh? Get your, what did it say on that thing? Your due rewards. Welcome. Get, huh? Welcome rewards, I think, wasn't it? Get your welcome rewards. Sign up with Maya. It says that right on the smart card. Sign up with Maya. get your welcome rewards. Just what you wanted. Another body, death, suffering. This is it. One should not falsely think himself in it, but as soon, be quiet, as soon as he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is liberated, free from the material perplexity. No more need to worry. One should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool, in the ocean of birth and death. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done and what is not to be done, as was just said. But a person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act, because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. Can you turn it down a bit? Hare Krishna. So the point I'm here, I wanted to add to the obvious, the last line is, not hearing me, you will be lost. The same point. If you don't listen to your Google Maps or whatever you use to get here, you get lost. Right? You have to listen. Lady comes on. At the second roundabout, turn right. At the next junction, turn left. You have to listen to what they say and do it. Otherwise you'll be lost. Right? You have to follow the recipe. Follow the will. Follow the direction. If it's bona fide, you'll get there. What do you think? What's your take on it? What do you think? Does it make sense or not? So similarly, this afternoon we're here chanting Hare Krishna. Isn't that the way in Kali Yuga? We're pretty hard. We have a hard time with all the other instructions, huh? They're not easy. Kali Yuga, people have a hard time with any restrictions and do's and stuff. It's something you have to do, but it's pretty hard to follow much. Kali Yuga, ocean of thoughts. Kalad ocean ade raja nasti he kumahan gunaha. What does that mean? I know what it means. It means it's time for prasadam. What else does it mean? Dosha. It's time for dosha. You make dosha here? South Indian dosha. Kalaya dosha. Kali Yuga dosha. No, what does it mean?
Ocean of thoughts.
Ocean of thoughts. The word dosha also means thoughts. It's an ocean of thoughts. There is only eka mahanguna. There is one good quality in this age. What is that? Eka mahanguna, one good quality. What is it? Kirtanadeva Krishnasya, the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Harinama Harinamo. Harinama eva kevalam. Kalong Nastevan Nastevan Nasteva. Gatianyata. That means in the age we're in, Kali Yuga, there is only one way, only one way, only one way. Chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name, chanting 3 times. See, if you take it in, literally, it's actually 8 times it's emphasized. Certainly, only. No other way, no other way, no other way. Chanting, chanting, chanting. Confirmed 8 times. This is the age we're in. You can study, you can give charity, you can do austerities, you can do what you like. You can fast for 11 days, you can do whatever you want, but it's not going to bring you to the goal of life. It's not going to awaken the love in the heart, which is what we really need to do. Loving Krishna means loving everyone else. It does not something, I don't care for anyone else. It means you really love everyone else. You have no enemy. Because everyone is Mame Vangsa Jiva, okay? Jiva Bhuta Sanata. Everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. We're not independent. We belong to Krishna, just like your finger belongs to your body. And you can see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna. But if we don't hear him, this knowledge, you won't have this knowledge. we'll still be discriminating, even though we're practicing some form of mixed service. We'll still have friends and enemies, likes and dislikes, etc., etc. Duality. So to rise above that, we have to hear Krishna. And that means hearing Krishna manifest in this age of Kaliya. Kali Kalar Namarupa, Krishna avatar. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm not sure what's happening here. All kinds of boxes. Is this books? Are they full up with Bhagavad Gitas? Huh? Oh, it's food for life. What about food for death? What are we going to give people who are on the verge of death? That's the secret, isn't it? That's when it really counts, when you're dying. Huh? When they can't eat anymore. You know, what do you do then? So where were we? What does that verse mean? Kali Kalara Namarupa Krishna Avatar. In this age of Kali, the Supreme Lord appears in the form of Nama Rupa. Rupa means form. Nam, name, the form of the name. Krishna Avatar. Krishna appears himself, Avatar. Kali Kalara, in this age of Kali. So we have to hear Krishna in that form. So we try to hear the sound of Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, that I couldn't even hear it. How am I going to hear it if I can't hear it? Come on, let's hear you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We try to hear that sound. And miraculously, because it's Krishna, it means when we hear, Krishna is reciprocating. As they hear me, I hear you. It's like when you're talking to somebody, you know, you can feel it. The other person's not really listening to you, right? They're kind of disinterested or distracted. They're not really interested in what you're going to say. Or they simply repeat what you said a few minutes later as if you never said it. They take the credit for saying it. That happens regularly. It's quite disconcerting if you're on the material platform. We don't hear. We like to talk, but we don't hear. It's the hearing which changes the heart. When we hear Krishna, Krishna hears us. And he purifies, pavitram, he purifies, cleanses away the obstacles in our heart. Huh? The dust. Cheto dapanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya kodava chandikavataranam vidya vadu jivanam Anandam Burivadanam Patipadam Punamitasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. It cleanses our heart. We can't do anything. We just try to hear Krishna, try to follow his instruction. We can't cleanse our heart. He does that when we hear him. So when we chant Hare Krishna, it's not just a mechanical process. It's okay, that's a start. That's good. But that doesn't remove Kinvadaradhanuidam. Rupa Goswami says you have to hear carefully and regularly the holy name. This is the process of changing our hearts. Changing our perception. Changing our conceptual understandings. Getting off the platform of false ego. I know, I'm this, I'm that. I've heard these things, so what? What is the use if we're not putting it into practice? None. We haven't heard anything. Hearing means acting on what we hear, not just some ad verbatim repeating it's okay in one sense, but it must be acted upon. If I say to you now, can you bring me a cup of water, please? What will you do? Sit there looking at me? Did you hear what I said? You say, yes, I heard what you said. You said, can you please bring me a cup of water? Okay. Can you please give me a cup of water? You sit like a dummy. I heard what you said. What more do you want? What do you expect me to do? I heard what you said. Well, I asked if you could bring me a cup of water. You get it yourself if you want a cup of water. Why are you asking me? I heard what you said. Not very satisfying. And even if you just sit there like a Mayavadi or something doing nothing, it doesn't really, it's not really the point. Just to hear is one thing, but we have to act upon it. So in the case of chanting the holy name, yes, that itself is a service. So the action is we try, the love at our stage is we try to hear the sound of the name. We may not be in realized state. We may still have our material desires, but by hearing the sound of the holy name, even once, it can purify so much our heart. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We're just giving a prelude here. One of the secrets of chanting is don't try to think of the future or the past. Just try to live in the present. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, dwell not the past that sleeps, nor ere the future dream at all, but live with times that are with thee, and progress thee shall call. Old English. It means don't dwell on the past or dream of the future. Concentrate on what you're doing now. So when you're chanting japa, hear the sound. Even if there's one word, Hare, just try to hear it. Or one mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Don't worry about the last one or the next one. Just concentrate on the present one. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The mind will say, I don't want to do this. We've got more important things to think about than this. We can do this later on. Come on, stop this. We don't want to listen to this. No, come on. You don't really want to listen to it either. Come on, let's do something better. We can think about Maya. She's really nice. Why are you listening? We don't need to listen to this Hare Hare Krishna stuff. Okay, I agree with you, mind. But this once, let's just do it for 1 minute. 1 minute? You joking? All right then. We'll give it a go. 1 minute. Oh, one mantra. Okay, one mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, that's enough. Let's get back to our other business. No, let's try one more. It wasn't that bad, was it? Well, it wasn't too bad. But, there's better things to do. Let's just give it one more go. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And this way, one mantra at a time. We slowly bring the wild mind to focus on Krishna, to become conscious of Krishna in his form of Namarup. Srila Prabhupada ki jai! Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai! Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai! Okay, you can all queue up now for your Bhagavad Gitas. Come and get them. We've got 3 versions available today for you lucky people. Don't all run at once. We don't want to stampede, but we would like to see some willing hands coming forward for this lifetime opportunity. Bhagavad Gita. You can also give it as a gift to a friend if you've got one already. What a gift to give. 3 versions here. Woo!